In the last video I talked about the meaning of absolute value, and now we're going to look at a test-like question. So an example that you could see for one of your first 5 questions without the calculator on the GED mathematical reasoning test. So here's how the question reads. What is the distance in units from 0 to point P on the number line? You have this visual here where they give you this number line, they locate point P, and then they give you multiple choice. So we have A is -4.5, B -5.5, C 4.5, and D 5.5. So what I encourage you to do, what I'd like you to do, is when you first read a question, kind of pick out some keywords that could be helpful. So first here, what is the distance? Right? What is the distance? So again, in my last video, I talked about distance always having to be a positive value. It's a distance, right? So you're either walking this way or this way. Either way, you're still walking the same amount of space. It just could be in a positive direction or a negative direction. So right off the bat, on a lot of GED multiple choice questions, you can get rid of answers that don't make sense. Okay, so what is the distance in units? Leads us to C or D because it's a positive. It should yield a positive number, being it's a distance. I will tell you that most students quickly read this question, quickly look at the number line and think, okay, point P, if this is -4, this is -5, P would be -4.5. And I would say 9 out of 10 students would choose A right out of the gate. Okay, and this is your first question, you might have a little test nerves anyways, but that's wrong, right? Because it's a distance. The value of point P is -4.5, but it's not asking that. It's saying what is the distance from 0 to point P. So really we have to think of what is this distance here, and again being a positive number. So A and B are out because they're negative. That's helpful to just know that doesn't make sense. So now here 4.5 and 5.5. A lot of students here would make the mistake. We know here between -4 and -6 is -5. Accidentally looking at that as -5.5. But remember the negative side, you're just counting the other direction, but it's the same process as if you're counting them on the positive numbers. So we have -1, -2, -3, -4. So this would be -4.5. And we really want the absolute value of that. The distance from this point to 0 would then be 4.5. So this answer would be C. Another good test tip is notice how choice A is the one that maybe you wanted to go to right away. Just something to be careful of. Maybe flag the question so you can come back to it later, or just really take your time to make sure you're answering the question correctly. We'll do one more practice problem in the next video.